Protests have spawned across the country, even internationally. The UN has gotten involved as well. They said in a statement, quote, disconnection of water services because of failure to pay due to lack of means constitutes a violation of the human right to water and other international human rights. But Detroit's Water and Sewage Department says, wait a minute, not so fast. Out of Detroit's 700,000 residents, only 46,000 received shut-off notices. And of those, only 4,500 actually had their water cut off. On top of that, 60% of those whose water was shut off had it restored the very next day. The remaining 40% had it restored within 48 hours. So what's the big deal here? Joining me from Skype or from Detroit, Darryl Latimer, Deputy Director of Detroit's Water and Sewage Department, and Monica Lewis-Patrick, founder of We the People of Detroit, a grassroots organization fighting to keep the water on for vulnerable residents. Folks, welcome to the show. Darryl, I want to go to you first. Darryl, I want to go to you first. This is obviously an important issue here. One of the complaints from critics is that Detroit has raised the water rates. The city council just voted for another increase. Residents are saying, my God, how can we keep taking increases when it comes to the cost of our water?
Precisely, Roland, and that is why we're launching this campaign. And keep in mind, we've always shut off water for delinquents. So basically what we've done is stepped up those efforts because of the continual rise of water rates. One of the reasons why Detroit rates keep rising because of the amount of bad debt associated with collections. Detroit's revenue requirement to the department is some $330 million, but we have to add another $42 million to that because there's the bad debt factor, the uncollectibles, and we're trying to change that so that we're fair to all of our customers. The customers that are paying their accounts, and let's keep in mind, there's more customers paying their accounts than are delinquent. However,
I'm taking a video.
Accounts, they linger on, and it would be irresponsible for the department to continue to allow someone to be delinquent on their account and reach a point where it's unpayable.
Monica? I want to go to Monica now. Monica, the bottom line is, look, when you get city services, whether it is water, whether it is
my little cousin, they so
services,
cute.
You have to pay for them. Your thoughts on what Darryl just said?
I find it very interesting that Mr. Lattimore's comments are about fiscal responsibility, but the truth of the matter is that Mr. Lattimore is not actually running the department. The department is under the control of an unelected, unaccountable emergency manager by the name of Kevin Orr. And what this is targeting the least of those the most vulnerable, to take away a key asset and access to water so that those particular communities can be forced out of the city through a very aggressive gentrification plan. I don't see the same kind of prioritization that Mr. Lattimore is referencing to people like Mr. Mike Ilitch through the Joe Louis Arena that owes over $80,000 in unpaid water bills, or Ford Field that owes over $55,000 in unpaid water bills. The VA hospital owes over $132,000 in unpaid water bills. Palmer Park, a local golf course, owes over $422,000 in unpaid water bills. So if there was an equal implementation of prioritization, I could agree with Mr. Lattimore. But my concern is that this is really a mechanism to ensure that the most poor Black and brown citizens of our community do not have access to a basic human right, which is water.
Darryl, what about that? Monica lays out several folks who have hundreds of thousands of dollars in delinquent water bills. Are you cutting that water off, or are you getting full payment for their delinquent bills too?
Those entities are not delinquent, and that's the problem. We're having people throw out a lot of numbers. None of them have facts associated with
Okay, so let's take it right here. Darryl, 1 second. So Monica said there's a local golf course that owes more than $400,000. What are from your perspective, what are the facts?
The facts associated with that's our golf course that's owned by the city of Detroit. We're right now in discussions with the city of Detroit. We've also received some payments from the city of Detroit. We're right now adding those to accounts. That golf course is owned by the city of Detroit.
Okay, so even though the golf course is owned by the city, would you shut off the water to that golf course? They're owing $400,000.
Yes, but that you got to keep in mind, Roland. Water for the bigger commercial entities is not the issue. The water bill attached to that property is $23,000. The $400,000 that's being cited is for stormwater drainage. We have a number of commercial companies that have a high bill and don't have water. We're still continually to charge them for stormwater drainage.
All right, Monica?
Well, I find that very interesting because the shutoffs are occurring in conjunction with the emergency manager, Kevin Orr, who is actually a straw boss acting on behalf of the right-wing governor of this state, Rick Snyder. And it seems that this is a plan to support the privatization of the management and the operations of the water department. What I would ask Mr. Lattimore is that can he describe for us, or can he tell us whether or not it is his position to privatize the water department of the citizens of Detroit?
Darryl?
It is not my position. I'm a City of Detroit employee. We've shut off water every year. This has absolutely nothing to do with the emergency manager. Absolutely nothing. We do this every year. For some reason, this has garnered national attention. And if you go back in the history of this department, you can go back for years, and we've always shut off water for delinquency. The problem has arisen is that there's so many of our customers now that are delinquent that we had to launch an aggressive effort to try to keep up. We've always used a number of options at our disposal to try to collect the delinquency account. That is, we will put it on the tax roll. We went from quarterly billing to monthly billing. This is not new. This is being attached to the emergency manager, and we've always shut off water for delinquency. So I don't know, anyone that lives in the city of Detroit should know that.
Monica, you have about 15 seconds, go.
Yes, sir. What I would say is also that what Mr. Lattimore must add to the equation is that Detroiters had a long history of paying their bills, of keeping up the structure of the water system. But what we have had is made this investment in the city of Detroit, while others have benefited from our crisis here. That what they have done is created this mechanism to ensure that Detroiters cannot continue to stay in this city.
Well,
and so this is not a long history of them shutting us off, and this is just a common practice. This is a mechanism through emergency management under Rick Snyder to ensure that Detroiters no longer have access to an asset that they have invested in, they have continued to upkeep and pay for.
I'm out of time. Monica Lewis-Patrick, Darryl Latimer, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
All right, folks, coming up next week.